When you hear the name the Crime Stopper, you automatically think of the city of Baltimore because the man is a homegrown legend. But what is often forgotten is that during his senior season in high school, he played in the Washington, D.C. area in the Capital Beltway League. Today, I am joined by the Crime Stopper Aquille Carr.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. Ready to get started?
Oh, man, I'm ready. Appreciate the opportunity, sir.
No problem. So let's go back to your 8th grade year. You were already a young phenom, so when it came down to picking a high school, I'm sure you could have gone anywhere. Why did you choose Patterson?
My 8th grade year going into high school, it was like a two-school thing. It was Digital Harbor. That's the school I went to first before I went to Patterson. So I didn't pick Patterson. I picked a bunch of other schools, like a bunch of Catholic schools I was trying to get into, and I picked like 3 zone schools. That was Lake Clifton, Dunbar, and Digital. Patterson was like my third choice. Well, Digital Harbor, it was like a lottery, and I got picked to go to Digital Harbor. That school was like like a computer school at the time. So I had got clicked. I got clicked and then lotto to go to Digital Harbor. And when I got there, it was like a big transaction for me from where I was at in middle school to the 9th grade because they were dealing with computers, and I was so much hands on with stuff. I ain't have the time to really get to with computers and stuff like that. So the school transition for me was hard. So I had to transfer to a school where I would have got the proper help, and it was Patterson at the time. So that's how I ended up at Patterson. Cause my family big on school, so it was like my mom and them they ain't really want me to go so far away. Cause Digital Hall was like where my house at. It was like 30 minutes away, basically. So they wanted me to go to a school that was at least closer, about 10, 15 minutes away, so I can get the right proper help and everything. You get what I'm saying? And the coaches, the coaching staff was all about getting me the right help that I needed in school to succeed. So Patterson definitely was my choice at the Digital Harbor.
So, but you kind of had a familiarity with Patterson. I think one of your family members played for Patterson previously.
Yes, absolutely. One of my family members played for Patterson. The year I came, they graduated 2 years before that. So it was like a big thing. They always was pushing me to go to Patterson. But then I had a bunch of friends that went to Patterson and played on the basketball team that I grew up with, that I be outside with, regular people that's my friends on the daily. They was going to Patterson playing basketball already. They was already in the 10th, 11th. Thinking like, dang, why not go there and play with my friends that I know my whole life, and try to make this thing work.
As a freshman, you averaged 25 points a game. You scored 39 points against Lake Clifton, which featured McDonald's All-American Josh Selby, and you also had 32 against Marcus Teague in a Boo Williams Invitational. Both were future pros. How were you able to adjust so quickly to the high school basketball level?
I'm gonna say the transition was when I played in it was 8th grade. It was like summer league. It was like a circuit. So I played AAU for Baltimore Nike Elite, and that was like a big circuit. That's when the Nike EYBL, I guess it first came out. So it was like big. Everybody was always focusing on that. I didn't know exactly what everything was about the Nike EYBL and how big it was, because I still was playing with other teams like Team Mello and stuff like that. So we would go like Boo Williams, West Virginia Classic. We go to all them type of places where there was like the clearing period for like coaches and stuff to come out to see me. So it was like I was playing 17 and under when I was in the 8th grade. So I was already like ahead of my class basically. So I was already playing up.
Yeah, you were like a few years ahead of teams in the 8th.
Yeah, because I was actually only 15. So I was like a few years, people was playing, they was 18 going on 19.
Right.
Because they were seniors. So I was just turning 15 going on, I was 15 going on 16.
Mhm.
So I got to play up and I got to play down because I got to play my age group. That was like a grade experience. They had that little thing, grade exception. So I guess that's and then I play up too. So that's probably got me a lot of recognition. It got me, ready for the next level because I was playing my age group and I felt like I needed a little bit more competition to push me harder. Like playing
Mhm.
against them big names, Marcus Teague, Austin Rivers, Bradley Beal, and them because they was all in my region.
So
So we
what were
had a
your
bunch.
workouts like? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just was going on the question. I was just saying it was a bunch of people in that class.
Hmm. So what were your workouts like when you were really young? Were you like a gym rat, or were you just naturally talented? You've been like a phenom for a very long time, like at a young age. Were you naturally talented or?
I'm gonna say it was both, cause my family, like my father and my brother, always pushed me, always had me playing like in
Mhm.
unlimited leagues. Even when I was young, I was playing in leagues with them. So they would always push me, and it was like natural talent too, because I never really worked out on my game and took it really, really serious. Cause I was a football player. I liked the football. A lot of people don't know this about me.
Uh-huh.
Football was my favorite sport. And like when it came to football, you couldn't tell me nothing about football. I knew everything. Basketball was just something I was doing because I seen my friends doing it. So it was like I just
Uh-huh.
picked up the habit of seeing people doing it, watching Em1 mixtapes. That's what I used to do. I used to sit back and watch a bunch of VHSs, like tapes with like my brother football highlights. My brother was a phenom in football, so like he played running back, so I always wanted to be like him. Like I wanted to show him like I can do everything that he can do. You get what I'm saying? But he wanted me to be better, so I took on another route and played basketball. And they pushed me with that and they worked me hard with that. So it was like both. It was like natural talent, and work ethic.
You were offered $750,000 as a high school sophomore. What was it like to have to make such a huge decision at such a young age? And who were some of the people who helped you navigate that situation at that time?
I'm gonna say at the time when I went overseas and got offered the money, I was still a kid, so I really
Hmm.
didn't really care about money at that time. Like money was never really a factor to me and my family, so we didn't really focus on the money. But when the money came, it was a lot of expectations that I should take the money and just leave school. So that felt like a bad idea to me all the way around the board because I couldn't get my diploma. I couldn't be back with my teammates. Like you get what I'm saying? Like I'm making this big transition to me being a pro and never knew nothing about being a pro. So it was
Right.
like my mom and them make a decision. We big on diplomas and all that because everybody in my family basically got a diploma. Everybody from my brothers
Right.
to my sister to my mom, to my father. So it's like it was a tradition of me getting my diploma. But they didn't force me to get it. They didn't force me to make that decision. They let me make the decision on my own because they know it was gonna be my career and this how it can turn out. So it was definitely a big decision that I made on my own to come back to school. Nobody really told me to,
Yeah.
come back to school and get your diploma. I was a kid. I was, loving being around my friends. I didn't know really too much about that type of money. So I mean, I knew about money, but I didn't know 750,000 and stuff like that. Like I didn't know nothing about none of that. Nobody didn't break
Right.
it down to me, talk to me, tell me I can do this and go back to school and get this. Nobody didn't ever break that down to me. So it was like it was on the table and I never touched it.
Got it. Got it.
While at Patterson, there was a game against DC powerhouse Gonzaga High School. It was supposed to be a primetime matchup between you and Gonzaga star guard Nate Britt. A lot of people in the streets believe he ducked that matchup with you that day. Looking back on it, do you believe he actually ducked you?
Definitely remember that Nate, good guy. Worked out with him a couple times. Definitely.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was supposed to be a good a good game, good matchup because I was supposed to match up with him that nobody ain't really see me play against another top guard like that in my area. So it would have been good for the community and stuff.
So looking back, like, do you think that they possibly ducked that matchup?
I ain't gonna say possibly ducked it, but I'm gonna say it was like something happened. that he got injured, but he played the day before, something like that. So, I mean, stuff happened. So, it was God's plan. So, I don't really say they ducked it. I don't really put,
Mm-hmm.
words like that on people like that because I know his heart and he wanted to play. I know for a fact he wanted to play. I know how his family
Mm-hmm.
carries stuff. So, I know it wasn't about him going against me because he loved the game. He'd go against anybody. So, it wasn't just about me. It's probably with some
Right.
other issues going on.
You scored 36 against Gonzaga, 20 points in the second half. But Gonzaga forward Chris Jenkins hit a game winner against your team, and he would later hit one to win a national championship. Take us back to when he hit that shot against Patterson, if you can remember.
All right, I'm gonna take it back to there. And one thing I want to say about Chris, he always been a hard-working guy. When I first met him, we was like 13 years old. He flew in town, came out and worked out with us. Coach Terrell had brought him down. This was one of my coaches from AAU, kept brought him down. He worked out with us, played in a couple of games with us. And I guess he moved to DC. So him and the transaction was a little off. But I'm gonna take it back. I knew Chris was a good player all the way around the board. I knew what he could do. Absolutely everybody knew what he could do. So at the time, we was like, all right, we're gonna focus on Chris the whole game. You get what I'm saying? Because we ain't really focused on nobody else but Chris because Nate wasn't playing. So I'm gonna say at the last minute, I think I scored the layup, and then we got stopped, and they got the ball back, and then I think they called the timeout, and then when they came out of the timeout, they did a play. We stopped it. They shot the ball, and they got a tip back. So when they got the tip back, the tip went right to Chris, and then he made the shot. Sent us home.
So what was your thought at that moment when you saw it go in? Can you remember?
I think I don't know what I did. I think I grabbed the ball. If I'm mistaken, I grabbed the ball and just was looking at the ball. Like dang, like how you just do that to me like that? Like I worked so hard for you, baby, and you gonna do this to me?
So how'd you feel when you saw Chris hit the big one against North Carolina in the national championship? How'd you feel about that one?
I was happy for him. I was all the way happy for him because I know he worked so hard for this. He worked so hard. So I mean, players get good rewards. And I mean, that was God's plan right there. Like to show like that wasn't just a fluke on me. That's a shot he can make on anybody. So I mean, that was the same shot, same down the lane. Only thing it was a pass. That one was a pass, and the last one against me was a tip out. So that was the only difference. Same shot, same form, same everything.
You were the Baltimore Sun two-time All-Metro Player of the Year after leading Patterson to the Maryland 4A state championship. But shortly after, you transferred to St. Patrick's in New Jersey. What was the thought process behind that transfer? You then transferred back to Patterson in less than a month. Then you transferred to Arlington County Day, but only stayed there for a few days. It seemed like you were set on leaving Baltimore. Why was that?
See, my thought process behind that transfer was me getting to, a different environment, getting used to different stuff. So by me transferring there, it was a Catholic school. I got better grades. I started focusing on my books a little more because there wasn't no basketball at the time. And it just was me living my life as a kid because I really never had like a kid life. So everything was always, about business. So I never really had a time to really, enjoy my life, enjoy me playing basketball because everything was a business transition for me, my family, and everything.
So you transferred back to Patterson in like less than a month, but then you transferred to like Arlington County Day in Florida, but you kind of only stayed 4 days. So it seemed like you were just set on leaving Baltimore at that time. Any particular reason why? Oh, I'm sorry. So you transferred back to Patterson in less than a month from St. Patrick's.
Right.
And then you transferred to Arlington County Country.
At St. Patrick's, when I transferred, right, the school year was over. When the school year was over for St. Patrick's, it was like the last day because they were transitioning to another school. So the school was gonna be out of commission. So I had to get my grades. So I had to come back to Patterson. And plus the classes I took there, they was college courses. they wasn't the classes that I was taking in Patterson. So when I came back to Patterson, they didn't have the classes that I needed to take. So I had to transfer. I went to all of the country day on a visit. Basically, it wasn't like me transferring to the school. It was like a visit. So when I got down there, I stayed there for a couple of weeks. I think I stayed there for like 2 weeks. And then I came back home because there was some legal issues happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I came back home. So that was around the same time when all that was going on with me and, with Patterson. A bunch of stuff was going on with the commissioner. Was trying to not let me finish my last year because I think they was trying to say, like, I transferred or something, like I transferred to 4 schools, something like that. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bunch going on in the business that I didn't even understand as a kid.
Got it.
After being nicknamed the Crime Stopper and being such an icon in Baltimore at that time, what was your thought process in deciding finally to transfer to Princeton Day Academy in the DC area for your senior season?
What made me transfer was like me and Coach Van Winfield. We had like a good relationship, like off the books. Like me and him knew each other because he used to always be there when I used to train at Lowell. I used to go to Lowell Boys and Girls Club and train with Joe.
Uh-huh.
So it was the trainer Joe, and Coach Van like owned I guess he owned the building. So it was like I always knew him. And we always talked. So he had a good relationship with me, and he always told me what was real. He never forced me to try to transfer to a school. He never gave me anything, nothing like that. So it was just on me and him having a good relationship. And at the time being, it was like, what else school can I go to that got the classes that I need? And Coach Van, somebody from the team gave me a call, like, I'm going to holler at my coach, see what he can do. And they called me back the next day and was like, man, come to the school, bring your papers. And then I was in school the same day. So it was like it was great for me that, I went to Princeton Day and I got to play, my senior year.
Okay.
You were a very popular player, not only in your city, but also nationally and due to the internet globally. Did you ever find it difficult to handle all that attention as a teenager?
I'm gonna say I didn't handle it like different than anybody else that had
Mm-hmm.
like that blew up on the internet. But I'm saying I didn't know how to take everything at first because it used to come in all at once. So it was a gift and a curse for me because it was
Mm-hmm.
always giving other person the outlet. Like all I need to worry about is highlights and stuff like that. And when that never been a factor to me, I never asked for the highlight tapes. I never tell them go and make the highlight tape for me. I just go out there and play basketball.
Right. So you kind of push back on that YouTube sensation title, right?
Yeah, definitely. Because it's always cool for everybody to see that. But I mean, for the YouTube sensation, that means I'm just stuck for YouTube. And
Right.
that's not the plan. I didn't work everything for YouTube.
Got it.
You led the DC area in scoring as a senior and were Washington Post's first team All-Met. What would you say was the biggest difference between playing high school basketball in Baltimore and playing in the DC area?
I would say the biggest difference was like the atmospheres. It was
Mm-hmm.
a little different there. It wasn't too much. A lot of stuff going on, like as in Baltimore. When I played in Baltimore, it was like no crime, nothing going on. Everybody at the game and stuff like that. Like it was like just different for me because I never played like really out of Baltimore. As far as like high school, like we always
Mm-hmm.
played. It was always inside. Like so, as far as me transitioning to DC and playing, I just was focusing on basketball. That's all.
Okay.
You verbally committed to Seton Hall, then decided to play overseas. Would you have qualified academically to play as a freshman? And what made you believe Seton Hall was your dream school? And did you give any thought to a possible one and done season?
See, my plans when I was going to see her, I wasn't really focusing on one and done. But I
Uh-huh.
mean, they was all. I mean, not them, but every people around me saying I can do that, be one and done, or I should just go overseas, stuff like that. So it was like a big, a big transaction for me. I had a child anyway in 11th grade, so it was like it was difficult. Not difficult, but I had to man up. Now I can't be a kid no more because I got a kid, so I got to take care of my responsibility. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In your final high school game, you scored 52 points and announced you would play overseas in Europe. What changed that you didn't take the path to Europe to play?
What changed was I felt like I wasn't all the way focused to really, go to Europe and lock in for a season because I didn't know the transition that I would have to, I had to do because I didn't go to college. So I didn't know about the getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, the workouts 2 times a day, 3 times a day. So I really didn't do everything that I supposed to do. So I wanted to really recruit and get myself together, before I really went out there and tried to go over Europe and stuff like that. So I tried the other markets first, like China. Mm-hmm. I went there first. And then when I came from China, I went to Italy. Came from Italy. I came back. Even when I came back, I played in the D League after that. So when I left from the D League, I went to China. So when I left from China, I went to Italy. Then I went to Canada. And I've just been traveling ever since.
Right.
In 2013, you signed an endorsement deal with Under Armour. What is your relationship like now with UA?
I mean, my relationship with UA always gonna be, at the utmost respect because they came to me, they kept their word, they stayed behind me through everything I've been through. Like they never gave up on me. They still always, willing to help me out whenever I need help. Always willing to back me. Make sure I'm okay. So I mean, my relationship with Under Armour, they bases is in Baltimore, so it's always gonna be good with me.
Did you ever have a signature shoe designed and produced by UA?
I had a signature shoe, but we was trying to get it out. So we was going through the, you got to make the shoe, you got to put a bunch of resales out so people can get used to the model, the custom made and all that. But it never went through because we really didn't transition on that. We just made focus on me playing on the team and stuff like that. I've never really sat down and was like, I want to design this shoe. Like we ain't never really get that far all the way into everything because they always was always there. Like they always made sure I had the, all the nice gear and stuff like that.
So do you think in the future that might be something that we see a release, a Crime Stopper Carr signature shoe possibly?
Definitely. That's what we working on that right now as we speak. That was something like in my bag that I've been working on, trying to get with a different shoe company right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting back on the team and playing basketball and showing them, that I can make this happen and I'm still one of them, icons that everybody look up to and a good role model.
Right. Got you.
You only played 10 games in the D League. So did you ask to be released or did the team release you? Early on, did you find it difficult to adjust your style of play to the pro game?
I asked to be released.
Okay. So did you find it kind of difficult to adjust your style of play to the program at that time?
No, it was off the court issues.
Okay.
I had family issues. My dad was really sick. So and he was like the piece to the family. So it was just a lot of stuff I was going through and nobody was there. So, I only had the comfort from my family and they wasn't in Delaware, so it was like me transition, keep coming back home, wanting to stay home, stuff like that because I see my father sick and I felt like I needed to be there. But I really needed to be on a team because I was so young. I didn't really know. I didn't really understand it. Nobody really understands.
I got you.
Baltimore has a rich history of basketball players under 6 feet who have made a big impact on the court. You, Muggsy Bogues, Shante Rogers, Ernie Hall. Do you personally know any of these guys or have you ever received advice from either of them?
Yeah, Shante Rogers, that's my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
That's my blood. So yeah, I received a lot of stuff from him. Muggsy, I play with his nephew Naughty Bogues. So Naughty, he he basically Muggsy too. So and Muggsy always giving us good, good stuff to, to focus on to try and make it to the next level and stay there. So I mean, definitely them guys, Shantae, and we had somebody and a couple other guards too from Baltimore. Like you probably don't know that they, some people that I look up to, and teach me a lot of stuff.
So who did you kind of look up to in the Baltimore area? Let's talk about that. As far as when you were coming up, who were some of the Baltimore legends that you kind of wanted to be like when you were young?
I mean, everybody always say like Shantae Rogers, my uncle. So they always, compare me to him and stuff like that because of our height. So he's like somebody I looked up to, definitely. And I always looked up to my brother because my brother could play basketball real good and he can play football. So he was like one of my role models. He still is.
A few weeks ago, your name was trending on Twitter as a lot of people were saying you had the best high school highlight mixtape ever. Do you pay attention to online stuff like that? And what do you think when you hear things like that?
I mean, it's always good, to keep my name alive. But I don't really pay too much attention to it because, I mean, it's just a mixtape to me. I mean, and I'm not saying it like cockiness. I'm just saying it like, I mean, everybody got mixtapes. I mean, mine's just a little, it's cool. But I ain't gonna say it's better than this person because I'm doing this and all that. So that ain't my focus on, on me. I don't focus on the YouTube and stuff like that.
Got you.
You aren't afraid to take it to the streets. You hit up all the top street ball tournaments from the Goodman League to the Watts League to Dykeman in New York and many others. I recently saw an interview with Skip to My Lou of Em1 where he said they were going to be starting the Em1 Mixtape Tour again and will be looking for new players. Would that be something you would possibly consider?
See, right now I'm focusing on getting on a stable team, locking in with my team, trying to get right. I mean, if whatever the future brings, I mean, I'm definitely willing and open to any opportunity, to help me out and help my family. So definitely, and basketball is my profession, and that's what I love.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Previously, you said basketball had been a business for you since you were very young. Can you remember a time where basketball was really fun for you?
Well, I can say I remember a time basketball really was fun when it was like not involving too many people. You get what I'm saying? Just my family. You get what I'm saying? Close friends. Like back at a younger age, but not like once I got older, like strictly business.
So like before high school?
Before high school.
Yeah. So like what made it not fun for you? Was it just like so many people involved, all the attention, or was it just the travel? Like what made it not fun for you?
I mean, the people, like, a lot of people being around. You get what I'm saying? That's not really good for me. And like, a lot of stuff was taking the fun out of it. You get what I'm saying? When it wasn't going my way, I felt like everything was going down the drain because it was other people involved. So yeah, definitely. At a young age, for real, that's what really took all of. You get what I'm saying? Like a young age, that's when I loved the game more because it was not too much. Not too many people got a hand in your business because it's really not a business yet. It's all fun and games.
So you were at Patterson and you scored almost 2,000 points and you wore the number 3. What was the significance behind your jersey number 3?
Well, I'm gonna say the significance behind it was just I like the number 3. I wore that jersey like my whole life. Like that was like one of my favorite numbers. So like after like Allen Iverson, you get what I'm saying? Like everybody wanted to be AI. So definitely, like he was a big part of the number 3.
So what made you switch to 4 when you went to Princeton Day? Did they not have a 3 or?
No, they had a 3. I had switched to 4. I just I just wanted to start something new. You get what I'm saying? Get away from my old habits. Stuff that I was getting out of my comfort zone. Cause I felt like numbers always made a player. That's how I used to think. Like you had a high number, you wasn't too good. But now that like a number don't mean nothing. You can have 00 and scoring 1,000,000 points.
The nickname, the Crime Stopper, is legendary. That name and what you've done is going to live on way past when you're no longer here. Like, what are your thoughts on the whole legend of Aquille Carr, the Crime Stopper, as where you are today? Like, what are your thoughts about that whole legendary status that you carry?
I mean, I think about it as a good thing for my city and my community. You get what I'm saying? Like, even when I'm gone, you know, the name could be passed on to somebody else that's doing the similar things or better things that I was doing. So definitely, like, yeah, I take my name with it. You get what I'm saying? Because that's always a good part of the city that's, you know, with me as far as the crime. Especially, we got a lot of crime going down, and I feel like if I was playing basketball, I feel like a lot of those would be stopped.
Yeah. And, you know, not too many legends are made organically in basketball anymore. They don't have the same story. They don't have the same achievements as you, the point, the championship, the legendary nickname, and things like that. So I think that's, you know, a really good thing. And one of the best parts about it with you as a legend, people will always be able to kind of go back and look and see what you actually did.
What does the future hold for Aquille Carr? What is up next for you?
What the future holds for me right now is me working hard right now, you know, trying to get on the team, trying to get overseas. I just got cleared from my physicals and stuff like that, so I'm ready to go. And I got my name in the free agent pool in the G League, so I can get picked up at any time right now. So I'm just working, waiting on a call. But I've been having some calls from, you know, a lot of G League teams and overseas teams right now. So I'm just working hard right now.